Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm just here in Blanchardstown in Mill Road, just at the end of the vigil for a young man who had lost his life, or his life was taken away from him. And I just wanted to wait until all the people, out of respect, until all the people had left. And on the way here, I talked to some people, mature people from the community, and that's the way, to actually learn where people are at and their feelings. And the overall feeling that I could ascertain from people was one of pure grief and sadness and shock at that this incident has happened. And like myself, people kept saying it could have been my child out for a night, it could have been my niece, my nephew, and no matter who I spoke to on the way here, they said the same. It could be yours, it could be mine, child or children, male or female. And that seems to be just the general shock in the area. And we discussed the country in general, and most people of a certain age agreed this country is completely, at this stage, out of control. It's lawless. It's absolutely lawless at this stage. No politicians, of course, attended, no mainstream media covering this, and we all know the nefarious reason why they don't want to cover this. I'm not here to compare like with like. We know about the Congolese man during the week that was detained, obviously excessively. No right-thinking person would say it wasn't excessive behaviour. And subsequently, we can't comment because we don't know how and why the man died. But the fact he was detained in the way he was detained, who trained those people? Who trained them? How were they allowed to graduate from, a college, or whoever trains them, with that sort of training, that it was okay to apprehend somebody in that manner? And we know that all the ruthless, disgusting politicians have used it to race bait and to say, look, this happened, this community. Whilst, as I say, there's nobody here to talk about this young man and other young victims of crime in this country. So whatever people's feelings are on it, either ways, at the end of the day, we are a tribal people. And, when you attack one of us in that tribal fashion, you attack us all. There's the righteous anger, and it's how people process that anger and who they process that anger with. And we know where the buck lies, essentially, of course, with the globalists, but with their globalist puppets here in this country, who have sold the Irish people out time and time again. And this is the consequences. And I don't want to use anybody's death as a little bit, to get a few thumbs up or a few likes. I'm just informing people on the ground that the people I have spoken to here in Blanchardstown, and they're obviously in a part of Blanchardstown that has been here, they've been living here a long time, and each and every person I spoke to said, never in my lifetime is this, never in my lifetime. Now it's every day, every week, maybe not every hour, and where does this stop? We were at a point before all this immigration, that our country was getting out of control. So why would you add? I mean, that man allegedly that was killed in Dublin, allegedly had numerous convictions for certain things. Why was he in our country? Why was his country not dealing with it and dealing with him? I mean, the Congo is an enormously wealthy country. Enormously wealthy. And yet no politician speaking out and telling people that. The natural assets they have, the natural resources they have. Why are people feel that they have to come here when they're coming from a majorly wealthy country? And we know, again, it all boils down to corrupt politicians. There's just no end to these people's corruption. So to come to Ireland and behave in a way that is just not acceptable to the majority of Irish people can only just lead to a disaster, and the disasters are all around us now. And people that are gaslighting us and telling us it's not happening, it's happening. There's people here I spoke to today, they have no agenda. Their agenda is grief. You know, are we going to be gaslit into thinking that it didn't happen or their grief is not real? So look, ladies and gentlemen, we know what's going on. What we do about it is entirely up to the Irish people at this stage. We cannot expect other nationalities to have an affiliation with us because they don't have our inherited history. You cannot ask people who don't have our inherited history to understand where we're coming from. I used public transport, got a little bit lost at Blanchardstown shopping centre and didn't know where I was exactly. And I was told it was quite a walk, which I wouldn't mind, but just the fact that I wasn't sure where I was going, under pressure for time. Every expense spared, of course, because we don't have any. Well, I don't have much expenses to access. So I got a taxi. And I talked to, and in fact he left me to the wrong place, which even put more time. But anyway, and he said to me, "But surely you don't want to go back to the backward ways of Ireland." And I wasn't going to race bait with him. I wasn't going to do it because I'm here to not talk about that. And I just explained to him, if you feel that we were backward and if you feel we're better now, you didn't know the Ireland that was before. And the Ireland that was before, let's not say that it was ideal by any manner or means. We had our problems, and we were only coming to terms with some of our problems when more problems were foisted upon us. So look, there's a lot there to ponder. There's people, and I want to respect people's privacy. I don't want to. It's my aim. Firstly, I came as a parent. And secondly, I just came for the people who cannot be here today. And people ask me, Edel, if you're able to get up to Blanche, it'd be great to see and be a little part of it. And look, it looks, it's been respectful. The beautiful bouquets from people, the floral grief is here to see. It's here to witness. So anyone that says that's a psyops, if people's grief and loss for their people and for their country, is that a psyops too? So look, guys, moving forward, to me, it's just brought it home to me even more and more, the value of community and backing up your community and helping your community. And this week has really shown me that it is totally, completely and utterly unrealistic to expect people that don't have our inherited history to align themselves with us, because we don't have the shared emotions and we don't have the shared feelings and we don't have the shared stories that were handed down. So look, there's people coming, and I want to respect people's privacy again. So look, from now, rest in peace all victims of crime this week, and for now, God bless you all. Take care, and please take care out there, and the young people in particular, please take